Bonjour, mes amis. Right now we are in the town of Chamonix here in France. Hidden inside a valley, smushed inside the French Alps, right by Mont Blanc, which is actually making a grand appearance. Luckily, the clouds are parting and we're going to wiggle our way around this town and enjoy the beautiful sights, the beautiful restaurants, show you a little bit of the shops from the outside at least, and a few of the sights. Now, this is a very small town. The hustle and bustle are mostly tourists here. And this town has been dependent on tourism for 200 years. Since the Association of the Mountain Guides was formed around the early 1800s. At first it was for a lot of mountaineers, mostly Englishmen, that would come and they would summit all the peaks around here. Over 100 peaks were summited in the 1800s. The first one, Mont Blanc, was summited back in 1786. But then hotels started popping up by the 1900s, and this became a prime destination, especially with Winter Olympics back in 1924. So let's walk around. So this is a very famous ski town, and that's one of the main reasons why it is such a tourist haven. So I'm going to show you the mountains from this perspective, just to take advantage as the clouds are ideally parting right now. We see right over there in the distance, here from the town, we're starting to see the tallest cable car in the world, and going all the way to the Aiguille du Midi, which is right in front of Mont Blanc. Beautiful, beautiful views that I showed yesterday in a few live videos. And on this other side, we're seeing a few other peaks. Let's see if we can see Brevant. Yeah, right here. So this peak, which is already covered in clouds, this is Brevant. And this I went to earlier this morning. Excuse me. I went to earlier this morning, but I didn't get any views because it's still covered in clouds. That's the risky take when coming to Chamonix, is if you're here for seeing the sights, the views, and taking photos of the views, do plan to come here for a few extra days. Don't do this a one-day trip because you might be sorely disappointed if it ends up being rainy or too cloudy. So this is the shop I went to earlier, right over here. Le Refuge Payot, where it had some wine and cheese. It was quite amazing. Dia says, I love the look of this town. Yes, it is very typical of alpine towns to look like this. So let me see if I can actually pop into the store, show you around. Bonjour. Oh, the smell of cheese. Wow. So if you want to see me taste that cheese, just watch the previous broadcast. Bonjour. Very beautiful shop.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't, when you smell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
very,
yes.
Yes.
Very bright smell.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
I'm sorry
good.
for my English.
No worries at all.
Oh.
Yeah. What cheese? What's the best cheese in your opinion?
For me?
Number one, yeah.
This one.
This one. Ah, okay. I had it with some wine earlier. Very good.
Yes.
C'est magnifique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Magnifique.
Magnifique.
C'est le mot. C'est magnifique.
Yeah.
Tout à fait.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you so much. Merci
Merci
beaucoup.
à vous.
Au revoir. So right here, Tome Crayus le kilo. Oh, that's a kilo, but Tome Crayus. So here's some beer. The beer here is also really amazing. This is a red wine, I think, but they have this blonde beer. That's a real weird green beer. Look at that. But this blonde beer is really good. This is Brasserie du Mont Blanc. Really, really good. Sylvia says, I'm starting to sound French when I say hello. The key is, you want to know the secret? I'll tell you outside. Let me know if you want to know the secret of sounding French with your hello. It's a big secret. You can't really tell anyone else. So you gotta let me know if you really want to know.
Et sinon, vous avez le gros sac pour goûter un petit peu à tout. Blonde, blanche ambrée, génétique, brune, sachant que la brune là-bas elle n'y est pas. Et une myrtille pour 19,90. Voilà. Et vous avez ça, c'est très sympa.
Here are the cold cuts.
Faites alors qu'on va Elle est d'aiguille d'épicéa. C'est une bière blonde de dégustation. Voilà. Vous l'avez en petit, je crois. Oui, on l'a en petit dans le frigo là-bas au bout. Exactement. Vous pouvez vous servir après ceci.
I'm so tempted to buy this as a souvenir, but it is heavy.
Il en était au dessert.
All right. That was glorious. I have some leftover cheese and bread, and I'm not really the biggest fan of wine, though the wine here is really amazing. I actually tolerate the wine in France, but I think I might get myself a cool beer to enjoy that rest of the cheese later tonight. The secret to sounding very French is, as I mentioned, please keep this a secret. Please don't tell anyone else. This is only between me and you. Yeah, sure, there's a few thousand people who watch these shows, but it's between us, okay? You gotta say it in a sing-songy way. The more sing-songy it is, the more French you are, and the better reception you'll end up getting. And I've experimented with this, and it works. If you really say an entire tune with bonjour, you will get the widest, beautiful reception. That's why this was a very nice encounter with this woman inside the shop. So rather than saying bonjour, no. Big mistake. Or bonjour, no. It's bonjour, or bonjour, or bonjour. The more song you end up doing, the better you are. Bonjour, bonjour. Same thing with au revoir. But bonjour is the most important thing to say sing-songy. If it's more of a somber tone, sometimes there's these times where you have to be a bit more serious. Rather than going high, you go low. Bonjour. Not so much bonjour. So if you're going to a funeral, may that person rest in peace. You're going to church. You're hanging out with the priest, the bishop. You're going to meet the prime minister. Rather than bonjour, you gotta say bonjour. There's a lot of charcuterie shops all around here, which is nice. The tombster says, how about bonjour choir? I think that would be advisable. Yes. Just a hire choir to follow you around. Oh my God, look at these views. Mont Blanc, right in front of us. But first, let me show you some of the souvenirs. I took this train earlier today to go up to the ice caves. So there's some great postcards here, and they're very unique. So a portion of the mega urbanists that contribute to the show, $20 or more per month, via patreon.com/urbanist or YouTube, will get a Chamonix postcard. I send postcards throughout the month, so some people might get it from one town, some people might get it from another city, some people might get it from another place. But if you're a mega urbanist, you might just get a Chamonix postcard. And if you don't worry. When I'm back in New York, you'll be able to choose a location that you might not have received the postcard, or you want a second one, because I'm buying a bunch of extras. So when I'm staying put in New York, there'll be an opportunity to get a postcard you might have missed. Sarah is a member, yeah, open for mega urbanists, so it has to be the $20 option. You end up getting a postcard. Otherwise, you get bonus videos. Are there people more friendly in the Alps than in Paris? Great question, yes, a lot more friendlier. That interaction at the cheese shop is very indicative of how many of the interactions have been here. I mean, unfortunately, morning broadcast, we captured a very very angry Frenchman, but that is an exception. Usually people are very, very nice. Susie says you can send a postcard made from a paper bag and I'll be happy. Okay, Susie, all right, I'll send you a paper bag, sure. Oh, you mean metaphorically? Okay. No, thank you, Susie. I'm so glad you're enjoying the postcards. Wow, I love this town. Oh my God. Wendy says the hills are alive with music. They are. I mean, Switzerland is just around the corner. It's a very long corner because we have to traverse a bunch of mountains. But Italy is also around the corner. Also kind of a long corner, but you get the idea. Sarah says, I remember August is closed. So, French cities that a lot of people, just live are going to be closed. But the super touristy places are going to be open. So many of those French people who live in Lyon or in Paris that close up their businesses, they might just come here to Chamonix. They may also go to another part of France that you may see. I'll say that. Chris says, so pretty, you're helping me create my wish list for my next trips. Oh, I'm so glad, Chris. Yeah, Chamonix is a gem. As an American, I didn't know too much about Chamonix because, Aspen takes all the spotlight when you talk about skiing or outdoor adventures. I'm not sure about Aspen. I'm now very curious about Aspen, Colorado, that is. Though, let me know if anyone has been to Aspen. Is Aspen walkable as Chamonix is? And is there that many gondolas? Do let me know, because I think this is the benefit of the Chamonix. Oh no. That's very sad. The little kid put the middle finger. Ooh, wow. Very rare for a little kid to do that. So right here is the gondola over up to Brevant. So if you want to see that, check out the video I did earlier. Michelle says, so what are the Chamonix natives like? It's a population. I think it's like 10,000 people. It's very tiny. It's not that big. I've met one Chamonix native at one of the restaurants, one of the waitresses. She seemed very nice. She told me that life can get rather boring because outside of the tourist season, basically everyone knows each other. And people are here for a very long time. So it's a very, very small town in that. sense. Is a famous statue. Who is this guy? I couldn't find his name. Let's see if it says his name somewhere. Ryan says sunny weather forecast for Mont Blanc on Sunday. Oh yeah, that's why I bought the 4-day pass. I saw that weather forecast and I thought to myself, and Sunday, just in case, may make a return up the mountain. Ryan says, was he the first? I'm not sure if this guy was the first. There is a statue of the first 2 people who did climb it a little bit further down, which I'll show you. But this guy, I'm not 100% sure. He might have been one of those guys, or this might be a different guy. Lino says that's Mr. Blanc. He got the mountain named after him, but not really. Ryan says so much water here, no drought here. This was getting very dangerously close to being drought during the past month. There were already incidents of a few wildfires. Luckily, my rain dance in Lyon worked, and my entire weekend here in Chamonix have been filled with rain and fog. Diaz says, have your experiences of life changed? Oh my God. That kid is a little mountain climber. DS says, my perspective of life changed. DS, you have to ask me those questions when I have a cup of red wine or a beer with me. Those will work better. But yeah. I would say the more you travel, the more you see a wide range of people. You end up realizing that what you experience in one country, growing up in New York City, is not indicative of how other people live in the world. You might think that your small town, your city, it could be a gigantic city like New York, or maybe you're from Tokyo or London or Paris or Rome. You might think that that is very similar to how people live around the world, but no, there are quite a lot of differences. There's quite a lot of different perspectives upon the world, upon cultural customs, upon opinions of how the world works. A lot of things, thoughts on food and how they go about making food. A lot of things. The list goes on. And that wide range of perspectives shows that the world is a very, very big place. And there's much to learn from other people, but also other people can learn from you. It's both ways. As an American, it's a bit of a challenge because a lot of people think they cannot learn anything from America. America has been, unfortunately, shoved down the throats of many people. That's how they see it. So you might feel as an American you have nothing to offer, but we do. But we also have a lot to learn from other countries. Wendy says, when are you climbing the mountain? You know, today as I was eating wine and cheese on live video, my mountain guide for the group trip I joined in Scotland randomly saw me. Maybe that is a sign that I actually have to physically climb a mountain and not just take a gondola or drive up there like I did in Greece or in Italy. So maybe that's a sign. Let me know. Do you think that's a sign that I actually should seriously consider either, well, climbing a mountain might be a big jump. Hiking first. Should I consider doing a big hike? Susie says, we're a holiday in Menorca. Good reception. Hey, Susie, I'm so glad you and Gary took a vacation and went to Menorca. That's awesome. Ryan says, let's climb to the summit of Mont Blanc. Well, I think the record for summiting Mont Blanc is like, I want to say it's like 4 hours and something, but that might have been from the Aiguille du Midi. But anywhere between 4 to 9 hours, I think, is the record for summiting Mont Blanc. It's crazy fast. So maybe we could do it. Maybe it'll be a 4-hour live video. Stay tuned. Alex recommends going to Megev. Let me know what's in Megev. I don't know how to pronounce that. Megev? So let me know what's there. A few people recommended me to go. Tell me why. What's there? Wow, I'm just in love with this water. It's running so fast. DS says, how many days does it take to enjoy the Alps as a tourist? I've only been here 3 days. No, 2 full days. 2 full days. I feel like I'm already starting to see a lot of the highlights here in the French Alps region. No hiking. So if you want to do long hikes, you might need a few more days. So no hiking, just going up the gondolas. I have maybe one other main thing I want to do that I might to do a live video on soon, which is the tramway du Mont Blanc. It's a tramway that goes around a scenic route that shows the mountain and a few interesting sights, like a field of flowers. So I may do that. Hopefully it'll be better conditions. And with that, I pretty much have seen the big highlights without any hiking. There's a beautiful restaurant. Had a nice pint of beer here the other day. Ron says, are you one with the mountains now? That's a good question. Am I one with the mountains? I have communed with the mountains, yes. Wendy says, time tomorrow. If I do I will do a live video. Most likely it'll be an early morning video again. So Susie says I'll do shopping here. Yeah, there's a lot of shopping opportunities here. I'm not sure if you'll get good prices. Maybe from the French brands you will, because there's no import costs. Nicole says, try a smaller hike. Yeah, I gotta find out what's a good small hike. I'm very tempted to do a small hike. I usually find hiking rather boring, to be frank, because there's not much to see. This is why I call my show Urbanist, because I'd rather walk in places I can see, like there's stuff happening. But I think there's one or two easy hikes that show really cool views. Wow. Mike says it's such a nice place. Oh, here's the train. This is the little train. My pass actually includes this little train ride. So I got a 4-day pass to go all the gondolas and also a few other attractions. 117 euro for 4 days, which is a good deal if you think about it. You're going on the top of the most high-tech cable cars in the world, along with the ones in Switzerland as well. And a single day pass costs about $69 around there, 69 euro, I mean. So if you get 4 days, you're not spending that much more. So I end up going to this restaurant, Muma. A really, really good restaurant. Highly, highly recommend it. Let me see if I can pop up a photo of the food I had here. I took so many photos this past week. Wow. Okay, here I have it. So this was the meal I had. They have a, it's like an Asian fusion with some Alpine ingredients. It's really interesting. So it's mostly Korean inspired. It's very interesting. It's Korean style with local ingredients. Really good. Bit spicy. So if you're into spice, which is a bit rare in France, unless if you go for ethnic foods, you know, foods that are not French. This, you'll like it. So that was the meal I ended up having. I ended up having like a Korean style fried chicken, some potatoes gratin, but made Korean style with Korean spices. Very interesting. A nice pint of beer, IPA from a local brewery. And let me show you dessert. Actually, I'll show you a little bit. It's filled with spices. And dessert was amazing. It was a panna cotta. And some cornflakes. So yeah, highly, highly recommend Muma if you're here. Make reservations or come exactly when it opens, which is 7 p.m. Wow, we have 267 viewers right now. Everyone slam that like button. A lot of people actually are not searching up for French Alps or for Chamonix, especially this time of year. It's not super popular on YouTube. There's not that many videos on it, and they don't get that many views on YouTube. So the best way to get this to people who want to see videos like this in beautiful places like this, where otherwise they wouldn't know about them, is by slamming that like button. It's very helpful on live video. So if you're enjoying this, slam that like button right now. And let's continue walking around. And after the video, comment on the videos. It's a good way to spread the word to other people. Oh look, they have a little electric bus. This is, I think, a free bus. It goes all around Chamonix. I think it might be also accessible. It looks accessible. Star says, I just did a belly flop on the light. Thank you, Star. Thank you for your enthusiasm. A full-on belly flop. I literally heard that flapping just with the like button. You just splashed like, so you just splashed a bunch of pieces of like button all around the audience. DS says, I just Hulk smashed the like button. Oh, DS, thank you so much for Hulk smashing. Now there's She-Hulk smashing as well. So if you're locals, here you can come. They all hang out here, right by the statue. Be sure to say bonjour in a very sing-songy way. And here we have another beautiful statue. Look at this. Oh. Oh. Chamonix à 16 enfants morts pour la France. So this is a memorial of the men who lost their lives from Chamonix in World War I. The French Alps were actually, and the Italian Alps, were actually a battlefield during World War I. And there was stints in World War II where this was also in contention. All right, let's continue this way. Let me show you the train station. Actually, let's see what this says. This is the liberation of Shamany Valley. Ooh, wow. Here they have the entire story. See World War II. Since the Italian surrender in 1943, German troops occupied the Alps. The Chamonix garrison numbered around 360 men who occupied the majestic Richmond and Rosary hotels, which were Gestapo headquarters, as well as 50 custom officials posted in the Argentieri and Valorsina. The German occupants were also very present in Lafayette, where they charged with the mission of controlling the Arve River basin and keeping them watch over the railway in the factory in Chid. Big story over here. Really cool. Show birds closely. It's hard to get really up close unless if I have food, but I'll zoom in. Suhail, sure thing. These are sparrows. Ron is saying Ariel's actually French. He's actually poking fun at the foreigners who pronounce French words. That's what I'm going to do when I go to a Spanish-speaking country. Yo hablo español muy bien. Mi pronunciación es muy excelente. That's what I'm going to say when I go to Spain or Argentina. Lots of little libraries here. Michelle says, what's your favorite highlight of Europe so far? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Really going up the Aiguille du Midi earlier and seeing Mont Blanc yesterday, I think tops it. I think that experience has reached the peak of this European summer 2022. You can say that I felt very elevated going up there. I mean, you can even say that my altitude changed when I got up there. My entire altitude of life was transformed once I got up all the way there. We got a ramen place. That's interesting. It peaks the Scottish Hebrides. Scottish Hebrides are magical in its own right. All right, here's the train station. So let's head over to Switzerland. It's only going to take us about 3 hours or more. It's actually a bit tricky to get to Geneva from here by train. I'll show you the train map. Dia says, are any of these places residential? Yeah, right there. Some of them might be hotels, but a lot of the buildings here are mixed use. So there's people, there's bars and brasseries and places to drink, fromageries, cheese shops, clothing stores on the first floor, and then on the upper floors is residential. Sometimes there are Airbnbs as well, sometimes there are hotels. Is mixed use, which unfortunately, you know, that's why I haven't been too compelled to go to the mountainous towns of the US, because they usually require a car. It kind of sucks. Like even for me in Seattle, I had to take a car in order to get to Mount Rainier, go on a bus tour. There was no way I can get on a train to go to Mount Rainier, but here you can. It's awesome. It's awesome. I wish the US would be like that. Otherwise I would flock over to Colorado or to Vermont or to Mount Rainier and the mountains in Cascadia. So right now we're here in Chamonix Mont Blanc station, and in order to get to Geneva, so weird. You have to take one train here, transfer, potentially 1 or 2 trains here, and then transfer again to get up to Geneva. Susie says, bye-bye, we're gonna wander the beach. Hey, Susie, enjoy the beach weather. That's amazing. So you can also go to Evian, which is really cool, actually. That's where the water company is from. Excusez-moi. Merci. So Nicole says, how did you like Flixbus as opposed to taking a train? So coming here from Lyon by train will have taken 4 hours, but will require about 3 transfers, 3 to 4 transfers. Sorry, I had to mute. There was a popular song. It had to take me 3 to 4 hours or more, and I had to take transfers. Problem is, the more transfers you end up doing, the more risk you have that you'll miss a transfer, especially when you start going to places that are within mountains. You have a higher risk of trains being delayed. So what appears to be a 4-hour trip with 3 transfers might end up being 7-8 hour trip. So I ended up taking a bus. It was easy. The bus was simple, comfy. Flixbus was, I spent about 40 bucks, 40 euro. Very easy. Got there on time. Smooth ride. Yeah, it was nice. Only downside is that there were a lot of people talking on the bus, so it was a bit noisy. Ron says we're in Scotland. Were people staring at you as you were filming? No, UK overall is pretty chill with filming. It doesn't really bother many UKers. It's really easy to live stream in the UK. Aside from the terrible cell phone reception, it's very easy to live stream in the UK. France has been a bit easier. Yeah, there are people who stare. There are several incidents where kids or teenagers giggle quite a lot, but otherwise it's pretty chill. Susie says, I'm waiting for a souffle. You know, there's not that many souffles in France, ironically. Ooh, a Celtic cross. Is this a Celtic cross? No, no, it's not. Never mind. Yeah, the church is closed. I think it's more of a community center than a church nowadays. All right, let's try out this bench, shall we? Ooh, it's a church pew outside. It seems like it's not in bad condition, surprisingly. These might be, you know, these might deteriorate with a lot of rain. Surprisingly, it's in good condition. It's actually pretty comfy. It is nice and peaceful here. Chamonix is a bit hustle and bustle during the daytime, so it's nice to find a little bit of peace and tranquility here amongst the graves of Chamonix and this closed church. Maria says it's a bench test indeed. Let's see if this hits the benchmark. We got good views, but this gigantic building is blocking most of the views. This tree as well. Tisk, tisk, tisk. But we got some views here. I would give this a very good, it's an okay bench. It's an okay bench. 6.9 out of 10. In the snow must be magnificent though. And the Toonster says, inflated grades, church bias. That's true. Churches and temples do get a little bit bonus just for being in the church or a temple. Hey, Earth Paradise. It says, amazing streaming, greetings from Miami Beach. Thank you so much for a $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Earth Paradise. I'm so glad you're enjoying the stream. Wow. One more time, the views before we venture back. Oh my, I just don't tire of these views. Contrast says, look at the mountains. Oh yeah. It's so pretty. Susie says Christmas must be wonderful here. Yeah. It's ski season, so. Bella says this view is like a Hallmark movie. Basically, Bella. Basically a Hallmark movie. Yep. You know, a lot of Hallmark movies are actually take place in mountain towns in the US. So a lot of them are like in Vermont or Colorado. Let me know what other towns. I'm not sure if there's that many filmed here in Europe. If people don't know, Hallmark is a television channel that's known for making very, very cheesy romantic comedies. They all tend to have very similar plots, of course. Susie says, any snow tubing? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know about snow tubing. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna mute for a little bit. Stay tuned. Okay, Susie is in luck because I found a souffle at a place called Souffle. It's not 100% traditional, but I think it's the closest thing to a souffle you can find in France. So let's eat a beautiful souffle. Let's try it out. Let me see where I should sit. They are closing up the shop, so I can't have it to stay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have it right by the park. It's a nice area. So we're gonna explore a little bit more of the town. There's a few other cool buildings, but first let's have a small food break with the souffle, and then we're gonna go over and see more of Chamonix. There's a little bit more here to admire. Let's go over here. Okay. Oh, wow. He gave me two. I think he gave me two. Because this was the last of the day. This is speculoos. We just came from Belgium and the Netherlands, where speculoos, it's like a gingerish cookie, very famous in those two countries. So it's very funny to find it here. And this is a souffle. So it's not like 100% traditional, but it's a sweet souffle. So let's try it out. Let me zoom in on it. And now the birds are approaching. Ha! They're coming. Okay, I gotta eat this fast before the birds come and the rain comes. So a lot of stuff is happening at the same exact time here. But let's try a souffle. Dia says you got double for the trouble yet. Okay, I'm so excited. Speculoos is Biscoff in the US. American Airlines serves it on their domestic flights, really. But it's very popular in both Belgium and the Netherlands. A lot of the coffees always came with speculoos. Cookies, that is. All right, let's try it out. Ooh, I felt that. Oh my God. Yeah, I gotta show this. And apparently it's gluten-free. But look how soft this is. Oh my God. Wendy, it's speculoos. So it's both a speculoos sauce and a speculoos cookie crumbles, which is a ginger-ish type of cookie. Nutmeg and ginger are involved in that cookie. It's not chocolate. Ooh, super soft. Look at that. Is a biscuit, says Adam. Oh yeah, with some whipped cream. Wow, that is really good. Great pancake, great souffle. Very fluffy. Very, very fluffy. Super, super fluffy. It's not too heavy, which is good. American pancakes are great, but they're definitely a full meal. This one's a bit more kind of easier snack. But the cookie crumble, ooh, just that crumble and the cookies, the speculoos sauce that they put here as well. You get that kind of creaminess from the sauce that's very similar to peanut butter, and you get that crumble. Ooh. Mmm. Esfield says it looks more airy than a pancake. Yeah, it's a souffle. It's a souffle. Other parts of the world, like Japan, might call this pancakes, but it's a souffle. Let me know, French urbanists, is souffles really even that common? I barely have seen them in Lyon, Paris, and now in Chamonix. Paris, there's like 2 restaurants that sell souffles. And these are my views. This is amazing. Wow, I just love this. Look at these views. Oh, the birds. So many birds today. Ed feels as how's the coffee? There's one good place that I just had today. I will be passing by it and I have a photo of the coffee I had. One good place. I forgot the name, but we'll see a little bit later. It's around the corner, so we'll see that next. Yeah, there's not that much. Otherwise, the coffees here tend to be made with the automatic machines. Coffee made with an automatic machine, you know, sometimes it's okay, it's good enough, but it's not good. It's not really good coffee. It's too acidic, so I don't like it too much. Wow, I'm in love with the souffle. Oh, so happy I got this. This is a great dinner. Memories of Netherlands is rushing back to me. Drinking coffee in those beautiful canal-side streets of those small little cities all throughout the Netherlands. Having a little speculoos cookie with them. Wow, that's good. That's quite excellent. That was a good souffle. Pair of souffles. Ooh, the guy was selling water from the Alps. Oh. Evian, you can find Evian, of course, in the supermarket. Some places are selling Nestle Pure Life water. I have no clue why they're selling that in the middle of the Alps, because you should use with this water. Thonon. Ludo says, thank you for the compliments. Oh yeah, I mean Belgium also with the amazing coffee. Ah, wow. This is great water. I can taste the melting glacier tingling on my tongue with this Thonon water. Rain trickling down the glacier, melting the glacier, mixing with the rainwater as it trickles my tongue. That's exactly how it feels like. This is great water. Let's continue walking around for a little bit more Chamonix. Chris says water of the gods. It's water definitely of the mountain climbers. That's for sure. Mr. Sir says, hey, just tuned in. How long is this live stream so far? 1 hour so far. There's a lot of new high-rise development right there. Look at that. Well, high-rise for this village. It's not really that high. But, I mean, I'm surprised that there's buildings now with This might be 10 stories, maybe a bit more. Adam says, what does Nestle Pure Life water have to do with anything? So if you're out buying a bottle of water, if you're gonna buy a bottle of water, if you're gonna consume plastic, I encourage you to not buy Nestle Pure Life. And there's other waters like it. Dasani, Aquafina in the US, Smart Water. A lot of those waters that are from these very big brands are not natural spring water. They're basically water from a tap that they bottle up. Sometimes boil it to basically just, it doesn't have any nutritional value, no minerals. They boil it, it's tap water, and they bottle it. So if you're gonna buy any of those waters, might as well just drink water from the tap if you're in the area of the world where there's safe tap water, like here in Chamonix. Otherwise, get yourself actual natural spring water when you're buying water at a store. Evian, this one, Thonon, you'll see always the label, natural spring water. Legally, you can't really call bottled tap water natural spring water. Sometimes in the US, they may get away with it. Here in Europe, there are heavy regulations against it. So if you see natural spring water, or whatever the local language equivalent is, that is a natural water source. It's not tap water. So that's from an actual spring with actual minerals. So it tastes really good and it has a unique taste. Chris says Dasani actually has sodium. It's added afterwards. In order to if you didn't have sodium in Dasani, it would just taste like literally like nothing. So yeah, I wouldn't consider that minerals. Dasani, don't like it. Susie says those waters taste too salty to me. You know, they are acquired taste. They are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go for a culinary experience over here in Chamonix. We're gonna go to McDonald's. McDonald's is a very famous name here in the Alps. They have a supreme alpine cheese on their burger. It's fromage américain. Great, delicate cheese from the Alps. Ryan says he likes San Pellegrino. Yes, San Pellegrino, Pierre, are all naturally, they're all natural spring water. They're sparkling. So we're backtracking a little bit, but we took a turn, so we're gonna go further into the town this way. So Susie, I hope you're happy that you saw the one souffle in Chamonix. Not that many souffles in Chamonix. Ryan says San Pellegrino and Pierre are both owned by Nestle. Yes, that might be the case. Unfortunately, it is the case. However, they still use natural spring water. They are not bottling tap water. Pure Life is bottled tap water. So yes, they still might be owned by the same company, but they are not. They're still doing it the natural way. Anthony says, not trying to spoil it, but how many could you water about antibiotic? Or you worry about bad water? So in general, says Anthony, you do have to check before you drink tap water in any given city or country. Just ask the locals and you'll get a sense whether the water is safe or not. And I think it is good practice to ask the locals because you never know. There are parts in the world, and it's not always just because there's economic issues, but sometimes it's just because of the geographic location of a city or a town or a village that they might have water that's not the safest to drink from the tap. That was the case in some Greek islands, in certain places in Greece where they had what's called hard water, and the water is has a lot of heavy minerals. It is not that safe to drink. Mexico, unfortunately, is for a different reason. It has I think it's the bacteria that causes, of course, diarrhea. Montezuma's revenge. And some waters, for example, if you go to the Czech Republic, they are safe, but if your stomach is not used to it, you might be vulnerable to that enzyme or bacteria that might give you upset stomach. And that happened to me when I went to the Czech Republic. So do check before you go to any new place and ask if the water's safe. So these are the guys, the mountain climbers. Anonymous, thank you so much for tuning in. These should be the two guys, though they don't say their names in the front. These should be the first two mountain climbers who summited Mont Blanc back in 1786. If anyone can clarify. Esfiel says, is he pointing to Superman? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Nope. It's Mont Blanc. Like right there. Yeah, he's pointing right there. That's where he climbed. So the story goes, as far as I know it, one of these gentlemen is the mountain climber, or the guy who loved the outdoors. The mountain climbing wasn't a thing in the 1780s, at least in the West. I'm not sure too much about the East. At least in the West, it wasn't a thing. People were more casually, for fun, climbing mountains, even for scientific reasons. People thought mountains were filled with demons. Some people thought that mountains were extremely treacherous. Some people thought it was absolutely impossible to climb a mountain because you would die. Yeah, you might die, but it wasn't 100% terrible. So this guy tried to climb the mountain of Mont Blanc, and he struggled. He got altitude sickness, terrible sunburn, lips were too chapped. He came over to his doctor, and he was telling his experiences of going up the mountain, and he convinced his doctor to go up with him up to Mont Blanc. And that's exactly what they did. 1786, both of those guys summited this mighty mountain, changing the entire way humans, at least here in the West, saw mountains. After that, in the 1800s, over 100 peaks in the Alps were summited. A lot of them were actually Englishmen, which is a very interesting aspect of the story. I want to learn more about that. But they were summited 100 peaks in the next 100 years. It changed radically. So for example, Shamany, its very first ever mention in the history textbooks were back in the 1090s. And it was only known as a tiny little place, not known for its natural beauty. Actually, it was known for being a terrible place to live, inhospitable, filled with landslides and avalanches and terrible terrain to farm any type of goods. And that was pretty much the perception all the way until the 1780s, when those two guys changed the game. They kickstarted mountaineering. It's because of those guys that we end up getting Everest, K2, Kilimanjaro, that mountain in Hawaii. Let me know the name of the mountain in Hawaii. The mountains in the US, Mount Rainier. It's really cool. Lino says the Dutch never mountains. I think the Dutch had no choice. There are no mountains in the Netherlands, and you had to go a bit far to reach a mountain from the Netherlands. You can just imagine 1780s. Imagine being a dude who's never climbed a mountain in his life, who never heard of anyone ever climbing a mountain in history, only legends, and somehow he convinces his own doctor to go up there, and they do it. Just imagine being those two guys. Oh, and now why the water is running so high. They just left the tap really open. That's why. Oh, let me go more. Ooh, I smell raclette. Ooh, here's the casino. So why climb mountains when you can gamble all your fortunes away? Says, wonderful story. I'm so glad you enjoy it. Dia says, I love when he goes into storytelling mode. It's like going Super Saiyan, but in live stream. If people don't know that reference, I'm referring to Dragon Ball Z. Great anime. Let me see if I can peek. No, I can't really peek. Yeah, the security can't really peek. Cool. Wendy says, let's gamble. Yes, indeed. Dia says, this could be a town in Skyrim. Yep, basically. Basically, it could be a town in Skyrim. Esfiel says, the slots are alive with the sound of coins. Yes, indeed they are. Ananasu says, Dragon Ball Z, I heard that's a great movie. Dragon Ball Z is an anime series. They have like a few movies, but and they're famous for the anime. No. Booking only. Oh no. I have to get my raclette fix another day. I smell the raclette from here. If you don't know where raclette is, melted cheese, famous in Switzerland, but also here. And also fondue. Fondue is more French. Oh my god, so here we got typical French dishes like poke bowls. Oh, interesting. Poke bowls. Cool. We got more traditional French dishes like mozzarella de bufala. Okay. Let's see. More traditional French dishes. Now we got escargot, onion soup. Fricassé, which is interesting. Fricassé is also a popular dish in Puerto Rico, but it's originally French origin. And here, specialties fromage. This is what's up. But it requires two people. No. As a solo traveler, this is the pain I go through. I cannot indulge in the ritual that is fonduing, because it requires two people. And French restaurants sometimes won't even allow you to buy two portions. They would think it's a waste and probably deny you. Well, here are all the different fondues. Savoyard, traditionnelle, bread, cheese, and white wine. Ooh, interesting. We got ones with the come with charcuterie. 1950s per person is the cheapest one. Not too bad. And then they have raclette. That's so good. Oh. Now I just have to meet someone here, dazzle them with my charisma, and ask them out to fondue. The lengths I have to go to. I have to seduce someone in order to get fondue. The lengths I have to go for that. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I'll do that after. I'm not gonna do that on the live stream. Afterwards. And Nicole says, go for it. Esfiel says, just go to Tinder for cheese eating. Yes. Fondue will take a whole different meaning. Esfiel says, come on, Ariel, we'll see your moves. That would be a very different live stream show. Very different live stream show. There are those type of live stream shows. Wow, gorgeous town. I can't get over how gorgeous this town is. Bella says, good luck with that. Yes. Anastasia says, oh, stop it. We all know you have girlfriends all around the world. Mike says, you're fond of fondue. I am. Especially here in Chamonix. Why don't you order for 2 people? It's a bit awkward. In the US, you can get away with it. US, usually you won't get, no one really say no. In France, I have a feeling that you might get a no. Because the French, like the Italians as well, don't like wasting food. So I've encountered sometimes where I order a bit too much and they advise me saying, hey, that's a lot of food. I would recommend ordering less. Or sometimes they outright say, no, don't order that much. They don't want you to serve more. It's because they don't want to waste food. So yeah, I have a feeling it wouldn't really work doing fondue for one, but buying 2 portions. I don't think it will work. Wendy says, drag someone on the street. Yeah, you know, there's a few YouTube videos like that. That's true. Tom says, I guess the prices are here high. They are. Yeah, they are pretty high. Esfiel says, no locals that want to eat cheese. There's not that many locals here. The town is pretty small, 10,000 people. Almost everyone you're seeing here in the street are tourists. Almo says, the hotel concierge will find you somewhere. Ooh, burgers and crepes. Sometimes I don't give a crepe and just want a burger. Natunso says, I heard it's illegal to throw away food in France. I don't know too much about that, but I know culturally they don't do it. Culturally they use every aspect of the food. Makes sense. It's a good cultural perspective to have. Lino says there's also fondues with just the whole cheese melted inside the crust from the oven with a little bit of wine. Yeah, you know, I have not seen a raclette sandwich shop here. That would be nice. More beautiful buildings. Look at this. Wow. Lots of shops. So if you come to Chamonix, pro tip, you're coming to Chamonix, you may come on a whim. You might come here in summer like I did and not have a jacket with you or layers, or you might want to hike and don't have the hiking gear. You can buy it. You can buy it. There's a lot of shops here of all different price ranges. So you can buy very high-end ones like Montclair. There's Montclair nearby. There's Mammut over here. It's another high-end shop. You can buy medium end. There's a Patagonia. There's a Arc'teryx. There's a few others as well. Or you can buy low end. And there's a few shops. And there's ones really selling bargain prices for hiking clothes and jackets. So yeah, you can find pretty much every price range. Susie says you would not see me here in the summer, but in the summer here it's pretty much cool. Teacup says, I like this place. It looks charming. Oh yes. Ooh, wait. I can have raclette in a burger? The burger Savoyard, 22 euro, with raclette inside. Oh my. A lot of these places are booked. You will have to book ahead of time. Oh, I see some fondue. Susie says we can't help with the fondue, we're a bit far away. Ludo says, any skiing possible this time of year? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Look at all those people fonduing. Oh, how I long to fondue with someone. But for this night at least, it's fondant. Could you not go on your own to eat every few minutes? Do the Clark Kent / Superman disguise, says Gary. Change up your glasses. Pretend you're two people. Yeah. That's funny. Here is the best coffee in my opinion in Chamonix so far that I've tried. This is called Shuka. It's built in a cool Alpine style building. They have basically all your coffee needs. They have chocolate as well, which I bought myself some chocolate made with coconut sugar, which is awesome. And they roast their own coffee and also make their own chocolate, which is amazing. So let me show you the coffee I bought. So bear with me. So that was the coffee I bought. It was a Chemex, which is a slow coffee, a pour over, with a kind of dessert that had a lot of blueberries. So the blueberries here are actually local, and they taste delicious. Look at this gorgeous hotel. So highly recommend the blueberries. Now, unfortunately, the locals wanted a bite of my pastry, so they all swarmed my table. Here's the coffee full and the bar of chocolate right there. So really, really great coffee shop. Oh, here's one of those other cheese shops, La Refuge Payot. Teacup says, blueberries are antioxidants. Eat many. Yes. I'm going to buy a gallon after this broadcast. Consume them all. So I can get all the antioxidants. Steven says, do you have the little birdies on video? No, I only managed to make take a photo. Couldn't take a video. I got mute for a little bit. music was playing, there was a few restaurants here. There are a lot of people there. A great place to grab beer, seems. So yeah, now we're nearing the end of the town. Really gorgeous town. And I think I'm convinced. You know, New York rent is so high. It's an average of $5,000 per month in Manhattan now. So I'm just gonna buy an apartment here and I'm gonna move to Chamonix. Me, a nice alpine woman. Yodel the rest of my days here in Chamonix. Let's see which apartment should I get. So join me for a final stop here. We're gonna go house shopping and let's see what should we get. Ooh, 300,000 right here, apartment. Look at that. Wendy says get two. I mean, with the exchange rate here, yeah. I can get this one. Studio, they don't say what the price of the studio is, but this apartment is only 300,000 euro. This chalet, oh, I can buy a chalet for 1.5 million. Good price. I dig it. All right. So I got a few options, which is nice. Let me mute a little bit. Because I thought that was music playing on the speaker, but no, it's a concert. Wow. Mont Blanc is being shy once again. Mont Blanc put its covers for the night to cozy up for a good night's sleep. Maybe a shower a little bit later. Mont Blanc likes to shower at night. Esfield says, can she play Smelly Cat? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I love it. The cafe singer-songwriter. Yeah, it reminds me of Phoebe from Friends. Everyone, that is Chamonix. We walk from basically one end of the city, the village center, to the other end of the village center. Of course, the town extends with residential homes a little bit further up. But it's a beautiful, beautiful town. Highly recommend coming here. It is gorgeous, especially if you can go to the mountains so easily. And it's accessible to go up to the Aiguille du Midi right up there. I mean, just imagine, it's so easy to get up there. More time. Wow. Susie says, roast some marshmallows in your chalet a little bit later. Nicole says, now we need raclette. All the restaurants are booked. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find raclette at this time. But wow. Mont Blanc. Oh, it's mesmerizing. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be continuing this adventure, enjoying the beautiful vibes of Chamonix at night. There's stuff happening here until about 10 p.m. It's not like the Netherlands. So there's stuff here to do at night, which is very good. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow, probably very early morning. No scheduled live stream. The next scheduled live stream will be next Thursday. But in between this weekend and Thursday, I'll be going to a really, really cool place in France that has a whole lot of history. So I'm going to show you some really cool landmarks. So put on your notifications. Also won't be scheduled. I'll be stopping there before Thursday. Probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, so you really got to put on your notifications for this week. We're going to a different area of France. Not shorts yet. Shorts is for next week. But during the middle of the week, you're gonna need a palate for some good wine. So, and then don't tell Vatican City that we're going there also. These are the two things I'll tell you about the next location. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in from Chamonix, right by Mont Blanc, right here in this gorgeous town. Patreon.com/urbanist if you want to get bonus videos. You'll be getting full views of the actual ice cave. Full tour. 12 minutes going through the entire ice cave. Really cool if you want to ever see the perspective of going inside a glacier. Uncut. There'll be a short video on TikTok, but if you want to see the full tour, go to patreon.com/urbanist. That'll be posted this week. Also with the 360 tour of up there, the Aiguille du Midi, where you can see views of all the Alps, as well in 360 VR video, will be posted later this week as well for patrons or YouTube members. And if you're a Facebook supporter, you also get access to it, but consider becoming a patron instead. So patreon.com/urbanist. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Au revoir, mes amis. Bye-bye. A bientôt.